All right, guys, welcome back. It feels like it's been a little bit for us because it has been. Delancey was able to go on a vacation, and I'm so happy for her because she had such a good time. It was amazing. Anyway, everybody needs to get like, if you haven't, go take a trip where you can check out of reality. It's so good for your soul, everything. Okay, that's just my little plug for
Mhm.
that. But
And with people that will bring out your joy and like all you do is laugh the whole time. There's no drama, there's no plan. It's just you go along with the flow.
yes, I love that. I love that. Okay, so
Mhm.
today, no shocker at all that we decided on this right before we were even going to do this. Um,
Literally 2 minutes ago.
we are going to talk about the raw, real feelings of searching for, like, the process of looking for our birth families. I know we've talked about it like before, but it's been kind of like floofy and like woo. But like today, we want to kind of talk about, we're going to get a little bit more real with things. Just because we know that that needs to be done too. Like we like the happy, we like the joy, and that's what we both strive to do is just focus on that happiness to keep us happy in our
Mhm.
lives. But we also know there's some really hard times that can come with it too. So yeah. Do
Mhm.
you want me to go or do you want to go?
You go first. Because mine's gonna be a lot. So you go. I'm
No,
literally,
you're good.
I'm just saying. So yeah, you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I was pausing
Take a
ready to,
second.
okay, okay. No.
Yeah, I had to think.
Um, so for me, it honestly was 100% terrifying. And I was like,
Mm.
whose feelings am I going to hurt through this whole process? And there were
Yes.
feelings, tons of feelings hurt during this whole process. I've shared it before, but I'm probably going to get real right now. So if you're listening, mom, I love you. I hope you know that. But my mom was
Mhm.
extremely upset. My mom was not supportive. Some not so nice things, I won't say, came out of her mouth for why she didn't want me to look. I'm not going to disclose that. But and it's because she was in a place of hurt and we've worked through that now and we understand that. But it crushed me. I'm going to be honest, it crushed me because
Yeah.
the one person that I wanted to be the most excited about this was not. Because, was not. And so that made it extra hard to be like, oh my gosh, if you guys could feel my body right now, I've got, like, to be honest, anxiety talking about this. Because I've never really opened up about it before. But to go and search for somebody who I don't know, and I was terrified because where my birth mom is, I didn't know if she'd be on the streets. I didn't know if she'd have any way to communicate with me because the way it was portrayed to me is that Columbia was this deep, dark, honestly shitty hole is the
Mhm.
way I was told things growing up. And Columbia's obviously evolved immensely in 35 years. Like, no, go ahead. What?
I was about to say question. If you're not watching our YouTube video, you need to because my hand just shot up because I have a question. Um, so who told you that? Like, was that like that Columbia was just some
My
like
mom.
awful place where you get kidnapped and trafficked? Was it? Oh,
My mom.
okay. I was just like the reason I'm asking is because like his like sometimes in history class or like current news or people being stupid. I don't know. It's like if people will tell you things. I didn't know if it was multiple sources or if it was just
No, it was my mom. And which really surprised me because, I mean, she did go down, by herself. This, and there's nothing against with it, like this white person that goes down to Colombia by themselves, but she had God with her the entire time. Like everything she talks about with it, God was there. Like God
Mhm.
was there through the whole thing. But like I was talking to, ironically, my little biological brother just the other day, talking about, if I do come down there, and I'm like, I get it's changed. She's like, no, it's drastically changed. Like it's not as
Right.
prevalent with the drugs and everything like it was then. So anyway, super scared to even look for her because of the unknown, because to me it was always like Columbia's this dark place, and like
Right.
I love my mom, but she kind of stayed stuck in that. Does that make sense? Didn't realize that it could flourish and
Yeah.
things could happen.
Right.
And so for me it
It
was
was a
just
constant like
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
was my experience and this is the only thing that
Yes.
can happen. I mean, I
Cor-
get that. I
no,
understand. I mean, if that I
correct.
mean that was probably scary as all get out. So
Yeah. No, correct. So, yeah, no, there was just a lot of scariness, and then there was a lot of I mean, I don't know if you felt it too, like when you did find her, if she would even accept you or want anything to do with you. Because for me, there was always that, I knew personally because I had a letter from her that she did all of this out of love. I am one of those more fortunate adoptees that I do have a letter from
Mhm.
my birth mom. But
Yep.
still, that doesn't mean that after so many years, she could
Yeah.
have had some resentment or wanted nothing to do with me to kind of, I know this sounds bad, wash your hands clean of that part of her life to
Right.
not have to deal
Like
with it.
just move on from it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this much time has passed. Like why
Right.
they just keep, yeah, I get that. I get
Because
that.
nobody wants to be rejected. Nobody wants to be hurt because those feelings are icky and yucky and gross. And so
They suck. They suck because they make you question everything about yourself. Everything that you know is fantastic about yourself, all of a sudden you question it
it's so true.
because of rejection, which is
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
But we're
But
humans.
it's the truth though. You're
Mhm.
spitting the truth out because that's what it is. So I mean, obviously, you guys know my story. It's like pretty happy. I mean, I obviously haven't met them in person and stuff, but like nobody tells you about all the feelings that you have. And then the guilt. Like there's guilt on top of that, which I know we talked about that a couple episodes ago, but the guilt of who am I going to hurt?
Mhm.
Who's going to be mad at me next? Who, if I say something
Mhm.
wrong, is going to hate me? Like it's a lot. And I don't think people,
It's a lot of pressure.
yes, unless you're adopted, you don't understand it. Like really, you
Like
don't.
it's that guilt of what if I didn't do enough to justify, and then this just actually popped in my head. What if I didn't do enough to justify being placed for adoption?
Yes.
Not
Yes.
necessarily, but like
Yes. It is.
that's our little brain trying to play tricks on us and trying to
It's
tell us that we're less than what we are, which is full pucky because we're totally amazing
right.
people. Like everybody has those moments, and like you said, if you're not adopted, you don't realize it. But that's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
how let me ask you this: how long after you? Because I know with yours, it was a process. It wasn't a bing bang boom, it's done. Like
Yeah.
you went through a lot.
Yeah.
How I'm gonna sound like such a talk show. Walk me through your feelings through that process. How did you feel? Walk me through that.
Like starting it, like what exactly do you mean? Like when I started the process or
Like,
when I found her
like when
or
you, like when you, because we talk about like the guilt and the what do I say and then what do I do and then do I want to do this and everything. Like when you finally just said yes, I am starting this process, and it took longer than you probably anticipated. I'm just guessing on this, but because I think for anybody, the length of time it takes is always surprising. Whether it's longer or shorter, it's
yeah.
always a surprise, I feel like. So as the process was going on, did your feelings, did they go up? Did they go down? Was it a constant like peak and valley, peak and valley, peak and valley? Like,
Y- yes. Yes. And it didn't also help either that I don't even remember how postpartum I was with my little one, with Mac. He's like
oh,
7 now, but like, okay, no, it wasn't that postpartum because he was like I had
I
close
was
to
about to
2.
say,
Anyway, but so hormones were added. But no, there was tons of ups and downs because you're questioning, should I even look? Why should I even look? For me, I'm like, what gives me the right to
right.
look? Are they even going to want me to find them? Like, does she want that chapter of her
Mhm.
life closed out so she doesn't have to deal with it? Obviously, she placed me for some reason. She doesn't want to have to deal with that anymore.
Mhm.
Like, is she really what did she do with the other, because I only knew about 3 older siblings and bam behold there's six other siblings, but like what did she do with those kids? Was she able to provide for them? How come they're still there? Am I not there? Did they end up going, like there's so many
It's all the
questions.
questions. It's
Like
all the questions. Let me ask you this too. How did it look with your mom
with
while you were going through all of this? How did it look like? Were you able to talk to your mom about this? Because I know you said like it was and then okay, that's
no,
what I thought, but I just wanted to clarify.
and that was probably the lows of lows as I felt like, and I'm saying
Mhm.
that because I'm not putting any blame on her. I felt like I couldn't talk to her the
Right.
way that the reaction was because I told her I wanted to. And then
Mhm.
there was a lot of really hurtful things said. So when I'm the type that if you I've learned to have boundaries, and if people come at me for no
Mhm.
good reason, with good concrete reason of me doing something icky, or if I'm trying to do something to better myself, I back myself the
Right.
hell away from you. I cut you out pretty much is what I do. And I had
Right.
to do that to protect my peace, is kind of just push my mom away about that portion. It doesn't mean I like didn't go
Mhm.
see her and stuff still. I just was like, we can't
You
talk
just
about
limited that conversation. I got
that.
that. I
We
understand
can't
that.
talk about this. So, and I was, like I said, it was really hard. Like I told you before, it's the one person that I wanted to be the most excited for me, and she wasn't. So, and I don't think,
That's rough.
yeah, people, and I mean, it's still kind of a sore spot. She puts on a good face and I can see that, but it's still a really sore spot. And so I'm just kind of come to kind of terms that it's always going to be a sore spot. And if and when I do choose to go to Columbia, it's probably going to explode some more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to ask, like, how is that going to go?
No, not good.
No. Okay.
No.
I mean,
My
well, and it's one of those things of it just sounds like it's something that your mom needs to work out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
it
we don't
is.
realize that they have their own things too. I mean, like
Yeah.
I talked about that on during the guilt episode. It's like, holy
Yeah.
crap, what?
Right. Right. Right.
Like I'm closer to 40 than not, and I did not know you felt that way. Like so it's different when the women that we look up to as being strong women and like
Yeah. Yeah.
our moms, and then you're just going, hold on,
Yeah.
wait a tick, you're human.
Yeah.
You have these emotions because what? Like
Yeah.
it's very and I don't mean to say like you're human, like being flippant about it. It's I think we idolize our parents in a way that when they do something that kind of shatters that, it hurts more than if it was somebody that, that's a celebrity or that it's
Correct.
somebody that you work with or somebody that you're
Correct.
friends with.
Yeah.
That hurts more because you're
Yeah.
just going, I don't get it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that I don't know if I want to. My sisters told me, my older sister, she's like, just don't tell mom. Just tell mom when you get back. By the way, I went to Columbia.
oh,
Because she's
oh,
like, it's probably better to deal with it after, which if you know my family, and I don't divulge a lot on here, and Delancey probably doesn't know a fourth of it, like it might be the smart way to go. Like really, which I'll leave it
or
at that.
hear me out. Just shoot her a message as you're getting on the plane,
I know that too. Yeah, that
and
too.
she can have the whole time you're gone to deal with it. The only reason I'm saying that is, and like I like, I'll show you, I'll walk you through how to set up that focus mode where like you don't get anything,
Yes, you need to. Yes,
but what you need
please.
to get, and that's it still shows up in your notification center, but you just clear that right out. You don't even you just but that way you can send that to your mom and give her the time that she will need
To process, yeah.
while you're there to process, to
Yeah.
deal. Even like I would go, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do,
No,
but for
I know.
me,
I know.
I'm very much a writer. Like I will write everything out and I'll probably make 8 to 10 drafts of something like that
Uh-huh.
before like come to my final one and I get my full, because my first one is like all of my emotions pouring out of there. And then my second one's like, oh God, that spelling atrocious. And where did this grammar come from? And then the third one's like, okay, I probably could have explained this a little bit better. And then it just gets better over time. So
Yeah.
just a thought,
No, I
do it
will
in your
take
little
it.
note. I mean, but
I will
yeah,
take any advice.
just because like that way your mom would have that time while you're gone
It's
to
true.
process it and you don't have to stress about it for when you get back. She
It's
already
true.
knows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she won't pull the you didn't even tell me you were leaving the country and no no no
Yeah.
no no like that
Yeah.
that will, Melina, we're adults, that'll still be bad.
I
She'll
know.
hit you with a you could have been
It's
trafficked.
I know. I know. And it's my sister and I love her. And honestly, it's just her being brash, and because she just, yeah, it was just how our mother is. And so
Right.
then I have my husband
If
that's like,
you were
no,
going to
just tell her.
California or New York, I'd say, yeah, tell her when you get back.
Not
You're going to
Columbia.
another country. A little different.
That's a
Yes, it's with
lot
your
different,
husband.
but
It's
still,
just still it's with your husband, but it's still different.
it's true. It's so
Still
true.
different. Like
Yeah.
and that's just I think that'll be, especially with all the growth and development you've done and the tools you have. you might be able to use that. Moms are funny things. Sometimes you can help them develop and grow,
It's true. Yeah.
and sometimes you have to go, I tried.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But like, that's just, but that's like with, that's honestly like with any human being. I don't mean just
Right.
mom. Sorry,
No,
moms. Mom, I
correct.
love you. Not you.
Yes.
Like I love you. I love you very much, mom. But like that's the thing. It's they're so used to their perspective that they may not
Right.
understand a different perspective. That's
Right.
not so.
Right.
But not telling you what to do, just saying like
No, I appreciate it. No, I
just
so
food for
appreciate it.
thought.
No, for sure. So, yeah, those like I said, I don't know that I've really opened up on the whole process of it, but it can get hard and ugly, and unfortunately there's, like I said, things that have been said that you
Mhm.
can forgive but you'll never forget. And like you said, like I forgot what you said earlier about it, but just got to move on from it. And that's and my
Yeah.
whole part of my whole healing and being more mature, just move on from it. And you know
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, your turn.
Oh God. It's so funny. It like before I even dive into mine, just for all of you that are listening, when Melena brought this up, I immediately said, "Well, I've been real this whole time. Why change now? Like, let's stick with it." Um, I don't know, man. I like if we're being like fully transparent and fully real, when I will never forget when I came home from high school. Again, always known I was adopted, always understood that is what it is. Like it's always had that knowledge.
Yeah.
I've always loved that. I've always like I don't make it my whole personality, but it is a big part of like who I am, especially
Right.
when people try to clap back at me and be like, "You suck," and I'm like, "You sure?" Because I was chosen. Your parents got suck, like just little things like that. But it's it's just like even though knowing all of that, and I got to watch my sister. Um, there's a 10-year age gap between me and my third sister, and I was able to like see her meet her biological mom and like watch that whole thing go down. And I was 8 years old. I think it was
Oh,
8.
wow.
Yeah, I was young when I witnessed that. She was about to graduate high school. So I just freshly turned 8, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Um, I remember, and I've learned here recently that sometimes our memories from like our younger years that we feel so strongly are 100% accurate. Sometimes aren't exactly accurate, but if my memory serves me correctly, I just remember thinking to myself, "Where's mama? Where's dad? Like, why are we all standing back here?" Like, I didn't understand why we were all
Yeah.
standing back.
Yeah.
Like, I understood it, but I didn't understand it. Like, I knew it was something for her.
Yeah.
And they told me that they explained to me, this is her biological mother. Like, that's who she's going to go meet. I don't remember anything else that was said because there's no telling what they explained to me at that age.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, I don't, why are we back here? And
Yeah.
then I remember thinking to myself, why is mama all the way like over here? Like it wasn't like my mom and dad weren't there, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like they were
No,
there, but they weren't there. I could
right.
be wrong. I could be completely inaccurate in that, but I remember feeling like they weren't, like it wasn't an engulf, like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, it, and I didn't understand that. I didn't get it. I didn't understand why that was happening. And it kind of frustrated me a little bit because I was like, I don't,
Yeah.
because if I didn't understand something, I was like, I don't, and no one could explain it to me because I'm 8. When I
Right.
was 8,
Right.
I mean, you can't
Exactly.
explain things like that to an 8-year old.
Right.
And, and you do the best that you can and you just move on with life and bebop around. And I just didn't think about it again.
Mhm.
Well, I came home from high school. I was 17. And I think pretty sure I've told this story before on here. And I remember coming home and walking in and hormonal little teenager. Like I'm an Enneagram 4, so I'm emotional anyway. And I remember walking in and my mom going, "Hey, come sit down." And I'm like, No, I will not. That's like one of
No.
those things, like when somebody like sends you now, when somebody sends you a text message, call me. No,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
calling you. No,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Like, you're gonna tell me what it's about, then I'll call you. We talk
Right.
about it, because you're giving me anxiety by making me think this is something terrible, like something bad happened. But she called me delirium, and we were here, we were in Mississippi. We had been here for a couple years, and my mom did for me what she had done for my sister.
Uh-huh.
The difference was, my mom had been, and I'm not telling my sister's story. So if you're, Carlin, if you're listening, I'm not telling your story, but I'm just telling little tidbits that make sense. Um, my mom stayed, from my understanding, my mom stayed in contact with Carlin's biological mother. She knew her prior.
Okay. Okay.
That's that situation, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
of that is
yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
My situation was different because they did not know my biological mother. They did not know anything about her. They knew she was white. They knew he was Mexican. They knew their names because they were on the paperwork.
Uh-huh.
That was it. That's all they knew. They didn't know anything outside of that. So when she said, "I'm pretty sure I found your birth mom," and I went, "Am I?" I just went, "Why?
Yeah.
Like, why would you? Why?" And I got
Yeah.
like immediately upset,
Yeah.
like immediately upset. And I say upset because I was sad and angry all rolled into one.
Yeah.
And I immediately broke into tears, and I was like, "What are you doing? Like, why
Yeah.
would you do this?"
Yeah.
And it just, I did not want that,
Right. Right.
because
Right.
the immediate feelings came back of, I don't want you to go somewhere else.
Oh.
I don't want you to be somewhere else. And like, that was, I'm probably getting, good Lord, like, why am I getting emotional about this? This has been many years recovery. Jeez. Um, but that's what it was. It was, I don't
Yeah.
want you to be somewhere else. You're my mother. I don't want you to be somewhere else. I don't want my dad to be somewhere else. Like,
Right.
you are there.
Right.
You are my parents, like, period. And like, I've always felt so strongly about that. And in that moment, I felt like she didn't feel that.
Oh.
Looking back, I know that's not true.
Right.
Like,
Right.
obviously,
Right.
I know that's not
Right.
true. But in that moment, at the age of 17, with
Yes.
an under with a frontal cortex that is not fully developed,
Yes.
and not being able to control my emotions, and I still obviously have a hard time doing that. I in that moment, I felt like, you don't feel about me like I feel about you, and that it killed me. Like, I did not like it. But I didn't know how. I don't think I've ever actually said any of that out loud before, because I didn't know how to communicate that.
Right.
I had no idea. I had no idea how to communicate that. And I remember telling her that, and I was like, and I was like, "I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm done." I don't remember
Yeah.
anything else I said, but I remember being so emotionally upset and so like hurt.
Yeah.
And it was just so painful to me in that moment emotionally. And like, I think my mom realized, holy crap, this is a different scenario
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
what my other
With your
daughter
sister.
is
Yeah.
like. This is, I think in that moment, my mom realized, oh my God, this is different. This is way different. Like, and we got past that. We moved on from it. We didn't really have a conversation about it again. And I think that's where, looking back, I wish we would have had a more in-depth conversation about it. But I think that at the time, and I don't want to speak for my mom, because like, she's awesome, like, she really is. Sometimes she drives me nuts, sometimes I drive her nuts, but wouldn't be a mother-daughter relationship
True.
if we didn't have that sometimes. Like, I mean, earlier this evening, I drove her crazy
Yeah.
to the point, like, she was, I'm almost convinced that she told my dad, like, just get off the phone with her. I was like, "But I'm talking to y'all." Like, I'm almost positive that's what happened. But that's like, looking back on that, I wish we would have had a stronger conversation about it. I wish we
Yeah.
would have sat down together after
Yeah.
the emotions had
Yeah.
chilled out
Yeah.
and actually had a conversation about it. Because I think in that moment, not in the moment, after the moment, if we would have had that conversation, we probably could have grown a little bit in our understanding of where we both felt. And I think that, God, this is like free therapy right now. I feel like that's the moment where we probably could have skipped a lot of the other steps.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that does.
Um, like we didn't talk about it then. Uh, skip forward a couple years, like it became like this little like push and pull thing. My mom and
Okay.
dad would bring it up and I'd be like, no. And I
Mhm.
would shoot it down immediately. Like, we're not, like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't even talk about it. I was like, we're not talking about this.
Right.
And then it would be like, I was very firm about it. We're not talking about this. We're not doing this. We're not going to be this. We're not going to go there. We're not going to do that. And then I got an interesting perspective in sitting in the state. It's kind of like I'm working sports, so I'm just going to, of course, correlate this to sports. It's like I'm sitting in the stands and I'm
Mhm.
watching this game happen between the family that raised her and the family that's biologically connected to her. My God, Carlin, if you're listening, I'm so sorry, but I'm about to call you a basketball, and she's the basketball. I feel like it's such a simplified analogy, but like that's the way that that's the only way I know how to describe this. Watching it go back and forth and back and forth, not a good, not a bad, just watching
Yeah.
how the
Yeah.
game progresses, watching how everything happens, how the plays happen, how they interact together, how they handle each other. It's kind of like just watching the whole thing. Probably should have said dance. That would have been better. That would have been more family friendly. Okay, scratch the sports analogy. We're going to say dance
Sports is still good,
or
but I get you.
cheerleading,
Yeah.
pyramid, whatever, however it works for you. But being able to watch her figure that out over the
Yeah.
years, watch her figure it out, watch my parents figure it out, me and my sisters figure it out
Yeah.
because the siblings are a part of it too.
It's true. Oh,
And
yeah, it's so
you
true.
know,
Whole family's
right. So
involved.
like exactly, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing on both sides. And so it's kind of like, and I stood firm. And my thoughts were, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not going through this. This is and I stood by it. That's my family. I have no interest in this game. This
Yeah.
dance, this cheerleading pyramid, whatever you want to call it. I have no interest in this.
Right.
I know who my family is. I know who my mom is. I know who my dad is. I know who I am. I'm their daughter.
Right.
I'm their sister.
Yeah.
Like, we don't
Yeah.
have to, I felt very firm in that. And then it came up again a few years back. And I just finally said, fine,
Yeah.
fine. Like my mom and dad and I had a conversation about it when they brought it up again because I'm not doing this. I'm not doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And as my mother will tell you, you cannot make me do something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like, end of
Yeah.
story, period. Like, you can't.
Right.
So, if I'm being completely honest, I would redo that whole thing all over again.
Yeah.
I think that it took a lot shorter than I thought it would,
Yeah.
be truthful.
Yeah.
Really, mine was like right there.
Yeah.
Um, I think I would have, knowing now, looking back at everything, knowing how supportive my mom was of everything, I would have included in her every step of the way up
Yeah.
to and including meeting
Yeah.
my biological mom.
Yeah.
Um, but now that because I think she would have a better understanding of where I am now if she had been there from the beginning all the way to the end.
That makes sense.
Um, but I made the choice because I said a lot of different reasons to a lot of different people, but I didn't want to make her feel like she couldn't be a part of it. So I made her not a part of it because that makes sense. Like, such a, like, looking back at it, that's so ridiculous. But I remember like saying, fine, I'll do it. And my mom's like, okay, these are the steps you have to do. And you have to do this, and you have to request records, and you have to do blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not doing that either.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not subpoenaing the court. I'm not doing records. I'm not
Yeah.
like, I mean, looking like, for example, like, this is how much I just didn't have, I was like, no, I finally, like, I made one phone call. You have to be present in the state of Florida in the court to submit a paper written document in which you're requesting that. I went, thank you. We will not be doing that. Have a good one. And I hung up, immediately called my mom. I said, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. And then I was like, yes,
Why do they make it so
freedom.
hard? Can I
I
put
don't
that
have to
out there
do
real quick?
this. It's
Like,
ridiculous.
why do
It's
they
ridiculous. To some people, that would be like
why do they lock
frustrating.
yeah, why do they lock it up so hard? Like, I don't understand that. Okay, sorry. That's a different topic for a different day.
It's, well, no, it's one of those things of looking back and like, back when we were placed, it was such a different time.
Such a different.
And if my coworker listens to this, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, because you're old." Thank you. I know. I know I'm old. He likes to point that out all the time, how old I am. I love it. But it was one of those things of, to some people, and like, you made the comment most people made, oh my God, that's so ridiculous. That must be so hard. And I'm like, yeah, it's so tough. Really hard. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh well, like,
Yeah.
but I was like thanking God,
Yeah.
because I just didn't want to do it. I was thanking God. I was like, that is the roadblock. You gave me a roadblock. You were saying no. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah. That's my
Thank you,
answer.
Lord. And we weren't
Exactly.
even as close as we are now. Looking back, that was a roadblock. I should have listened. Should have listened. Didn't, because I'm stubborn. Actually, my mother's stubborn because she said, well, you have your paperwork. I was like, no, I don't. That started a whole argument. She's like, yes, you do. And I was like, no, like, I don't. Like, I don't know what
Y-
you want me to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have my paperwork. She was like, yes,
Yeah.
you do. And I was like, pretty sure I would know if I had my paperwork. And she was
Right.
like, you have your paperwork. I gave it to you. And then it like went down this rabbit hole of, did your ex fiance throw it out? And it's like,
Oh.
he's not that smart. Like, let's call it what it is. And it was what it was. And she was like, I can't believe you lost that paperwork. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess that's God saying no again. Oh, well. And it was relief
Yeah. Yeah.
until the phone rang a couple days later. Guess what I found?
Oh. You're like,
Damn it.
yay.
Like, I went,
Yeah.
oh, you did? Cool. It's amazing. And then she's like, I'll send you a picture of their names. She took a picture. Now that was what threw me. I didn't know we would have the paperwork that would have their actual names on it.
Yeah.
So that was the other, really?
Oh.
And it's kind of like sitting there, like, and I remember thinking to myself like this, going, God, you're on my side for a second. What just happened?
Yeah.
And my mom was like, why don't you Google? And I just finally said, listen, and I just laid it out for her. I was like, listen, I don't.
I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
That was a pivotal moment.
All of a sudden you were like
Pivotal,
right in it, and then I'm like, no, because you were
pivotal, pivotal moment. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
it
What
kept
moment
recording.
was that?
It kept recording though, so it'll be on it. So whatever you said at
I'm
that.
so glad with me going, are you frozen? I just love our stuff. Okay. Anyway, so two sisters, I had just said two sisters were like, you need to do this. You
Yeah.
need to do this. Like one of them even was just going, like, you have blessed our family. You need to show them who you are. They deserve to know you.
Yeah.
And I'm over here like, this is my negative self-talk going, I mean, I'm not all that great, so I don't know why they need to know me. Like, I mean, I'm cool and all, but like, I don't really. Anyway, one sister was like, we you might need to do a little more research and like we might need to talk about this a little bit more. Like,
Yeah.
because this could go bad. And like I don't want and I understand at the time it was being spun to me by somebody else. I will not say who, but by somebody else saying she doesn't understand. She doesn't get it. She's not on your side. When in fact she was on my side. She's always been on my
Gotcha.
side. She knows me better than anybody. And she's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it was kind of, I think she remembered. I want to give her this credit of acknowledging what happened when I was 17
Yeah.
and seeing that strong reaction to it being brought up,
Gotcha.
just simply brought up.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
such a strong reaction to that. Like, but so I agreed to look up on Facebook and I was just like, fine. Like it was one of those things of social media. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then
Yeah.
that's it. We're done. We're not talking about this ever again for the rest of our lives. We're finished. Like that was my
Yeah.
line in the sand. Well, God's funny sometimes because I type in her name, I hit search, and bam, she's right there. And I'm going, and sorry guys for listening. You'll know I don't really cuss too much on here, but I went literally my exact words staring at it. I went, well, shit. What do I do now? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
then I
No.
started feeling, then I started feeling the pressure because I took a screenshot. This is where I messed up. I took a screenshot instead of taking time to process.
Yeah.
I took a screenshot of her and I sent her in our family group chat. And the whole family became private investigators all of a sudden in that 5 minutes. And they found out everything about her, the kids,
Wow.
I was getting screenshots left and right about, and it just
Everything.
got
Yeah.
everything. And I started feeling overwhelmed, scared, even a little bit frustrated, kind of sad because it was like, now I have to face the reality of whatever this is.
Yeah.
Like I have to face all of this. And it was all, and then it turned into, well, wait a minute. I can actually start asking questions. But that took a little bit. It
Yeah.
went from, oh my God, this is so terrible to, okay, wait, I can start asking questions to the point that it kept going that way. I talked to her for a while and it was that whole process of feeling those emotions and like feeling like I don't know how to talk to you. Like
Yeah.
I don't know where I fit in your life and I don't know where you fit in my life.
Right.
But I can tell you where you don't fit. Like that was the struggle I had, if we're being totally honest.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was more of a I know where you don't fit.
Right.
I don't know where you do fit.
Yeah.
And the impression I got, the feelings I got from her is she knew where I did fit. There wasn't a
Uh,
don't fit for her.
gotcha.
And that was a struggle
Yeah.
because the more I talked to her and then dealing with her a couple days after that, me asking her about, my biological dad and her going, I hate to tell you this, that sucked. I hate to tell you this, but he passed away in 1986.
Yeah.
And all I saw, and it was a longer message, and I just went,
Yeah. Super hard.
and out of nowhere, put the phone down and just went, and just, I'm in my apartment by myself, and I stood up and I walked into my bedroom out of the living room
Yeah.
because all of a sudden I feel grief
Yeah.
and sadness and pain and all of these things that I'm going, I did not even know this man. And I feel all of that. And then I, again, if we're being real, I almost felt a little mad at her
Yeah.
for her telling me in a message.
Right. Right.
She
Right.
didn't even call me to tell me. She didn't
Right.
ask me for my phone number. She didn't ask me to call me and tell me. And that was so frustrating to me that you tell me in a message. Like I'm
Yeah.
opening my heart a little bit to you because let's be real and guarded. I got walls up. Like, no, I know where you don't fit. I don't know where you
Right.
do fit. So you're gonna sit outside until I figure this out.
Right.
And it was so much processing and it was so much. And then when it came time to meet her, I was like on the phone with my sisters, my mom, and everything driving down there. And my older sister came with me. Looking back, if I could do it again, I would have brought my mom and my dad
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
because my mom and my dad know how to deal with me when I'm flying off the rails
Yeah.
emotionally. Let's
Yeah.
just be real. If I'm having a very strong emotion, they know how to,
Right.
it's okay.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
like pet the puppy. You're going to be
Yeah.
fine. Like,
Yeah.
it was such a, I didn't even know what I felt, but that was such a strong reaction that for the first time in my entire life, I broke out in hives.
Wow.
And that was my, to me, that was my body going, we can't even handle the emotion you're feeling right now because we don't know what it is. So here you
Right.
are,
Right.
so that you know you're not okay.
Yeah.
Like, you're not okay. And it was, and like the entire, it's kind of, I'm going a little further in this than I probably should, but whatever. Almost felt like I was performing,
Okay.
if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I felt like I was, and I felt like I didn't, I felt like it was too much for that one weekend
Yeah.
to meet not just her, but the kids. And my younger sister showed up because, I mean, Chelsea even told you how she felt,
Yeah.
that she didn't even know she wanted to be there.
Right. Right.
I, hell, same,
Yeah. Exactly.
same. I didn't know if I
Exactly.
wanted to be there, but I
Yeah.
was already in it and I
Yeah.
couldn't not go through with it because I had made a commitment and I did what I was supposed to do. And then it was, you see in my video that it is, I mean, it was a blessing, and it was, and I don't take back a single word that I wrote on my video at all that went, the whole viral thing.
Yeah.
I don't take back anything. It was
Yeah.
very much, all of that was very much accurate. My parents encouraged it and everything, but I almost feel like crying. And God, people in comments, you were crying because you finally felt your mother's love.
See, and I'll just say this real quick. You even explaining this, I like can see your video in my mind and it puts like a whole different perspective on it because people don't know the emotion that comes with it. It's just like what you were saying, what that person commented. You see a glimpse, but listening to
You
this,
see a glimpse,
yes, you can
a
understand feelings.
glimpse.
Yeah, feelings. There's these actual raw
It's the
feelings.
feelings, and it's an emotional thing, and it's one of those things of, I didn't know I needed to meet her. I did not
Yeah.
know that. I still stand
Yeah.
by that. I never felt I did, but
Yeah.
in that moment when I melt her, melt her, met her, I felt that
Right.
same strong emotion from when I was 17. It came back in that moment.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't know I needed this.
Yeah.
Even I did not know what I meant at that time when I said
Right.
it.
Right.
I had no idea. Knowing what I know now,
Yeah.
6 years, 6 years later, is that
Uh-huh.
right? 6 years? Yeah, that's right. I feel like you know it better than I do at this point. 6 years, years later, knowing what I know now, I feel like, sidebar, I feel like there are times when we make statements that our heart says for us that our mind doesn't understand in the moment.
Yeah.
And when we replay it and we look back on it, we see a whole new meaning behind
Right.
what we said. In that moment, I, my sister, anyone that's seen that video with me ugly crying, of course, felt the emotion was relief,
Yeah.
love. For me, it was relief and love. But also, I didn't know I need this. I didn't know in a way, I didn't know I needed it so that me and my family can move on from it.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes total
So this
sense.
isn't a thing anymore. This doesn't get brought up anymore. This gets left alone. Like, we can finally all have these answers.
Right. Right.
And I never realized that until years later, looking back on it. So mine was like a lot of fear,
Yeah.
a lot of stubbornness, really. It was a lot. This was a long journey. So sorry about that. But it was a fun journey
No.
because we did a lot of cool little twists and
Yeah.
turns and everything. But at the end of the day, I feel like people like to look at my video and assume they know everything about my journey based on that 1 minute video or three
Yeah.
minute video. I think it's 1 minute. I don't even know. They want to assume they know what's going on. I still get people messaging me, emailing me, I need to figure out a way to do an update video because I want to make sure that I do it like respectfully because
Right.
but I firmly believe in being transparent. Everything that I felt for a reason.
Right.
And it's kind of like, Kayla, my mind's going blank. Kayla?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
Kayla?
Yeah.
Like Kayla said, when Kayla and I talked about, it's when the honeymoon's over,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kayla. It was Kayla.
like with any relationship,
Yes.
when the honeymoon's over,
Yes.
or when you have little tidbits here and there, and it could be you, it could be them, it could be anybody.
Right.
You
Right.
don't know, but like, I think that my heart and I really feel like God was trying to be like, hey, whoa, slow down.
Yeah.
Like, you still need to like look out for yourself. But I'm over here going, no, let me cannonball into the deep end. It's fine. Everything's great. This first meeting was perfect,
Right. 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 Right.
but it wasn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
perfect. I broke out in hives. Who breaks out in hives when they're like joyful and excited?
Yeah.
I told everybody I was joyful and excited. I acted like I was joyful and excited. I convinced myself I was joyful and excited,
Yeah.
but I had hives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when you even when you try to tell yourself what the emotions are, your body tells you the truth.
It's so true. It's so true.
So, as much as I want to be like, everything's perfect, it's not
Yeah.
at all. Like, it just, but at the same time, it's just an interesting thing. And I mean, I think anyone that listens to this episode is going to hear you, they're going to hear me, and they're going to be like, well, thank goodness I'm allowed to feel this way. Yes, yes, you're allowed to feel that way.
I I just want to say thank you for sharing that because
A lot.
but hearing everything you've had to say is like a lot of the reason why I pushed Columbia off so much is because people don't understand
Mm-mm.
the
Don't get it.
feelings that you have to unpack with that. You know what I mean?
Feelings you don't even know
Because
you have.
correct. And that's where, and then people are like, well, you're gonna regret if you don't go. Well, what if something happens to her? Then it was meant to be, okay? It was meant to be for me to not go down. And don't freaking give me shit for not going down and
Right.
running to that. Like, no,
Well, and
no.
it's nobody can make that decision for you. That's for you. I mean, you just walked through that whole journey with me.
Yeah.
How, I mean, and that was like
Yeah.
a condensed version, which was not condensed, but whatever. It's
Stop.
it's one of those things though that everyone tells you you're going to regret it. You need to go do this. You should go do this. You need to go do this. You should be grateful. You should be thankful. You should feel this. You should feel loved. This one drives me nuts. This is your mother. This is your father. No, they're not. No, they're
Yeah.
not. And
Right. Right.
don't tell someone how to feel.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Do not tell people
It's
how
not
to feel.
okay.
I love that. I love that. Because it's not. People are okay to feel how they want to feel. No, and I
Mhm.
love that you shared that. Like, thank you, because that was a lot.
That was a lot. It's a
But
lot. My
no, it was
apologies
like
to
it
everyone
was a
that's
good a lot
listening. It
because
was a
I want
lot.
people to understand, and I mean we talked about this before because we do want to bring kind of some of the harder stories on for people to learn because that's mainly what we're here is to educate people.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this episode specifically is
Hmm.
because even though we are very positive, happy people and we choose to be
Hmm.
happy and positive all the time, doesn't mean that
Hmm.
our stories, there's not yuck in our stories. There's not hard in our stories. There's not things that we may have to do to protect our peace in our stories. Like, and
Hmm.
that's what people need to understand. We're human. We're human and we have to do those
We
things.
have emotion. Well, and it's just because you see, like, we're happy, joyous people,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
it took us a little bit to get here because
Correct. Correct.
You know, we've said it before, happiness comes from happiness and joy comes from like your relationship with God and like fun and doing the right thing,
Yes.
whole thing. But just because we're smiling and we're having a good day and like we just because we're not sharing with you those feelings doesn't mean
Correct.
that they're not possibly there.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
somebody does share those feelings with you,
Yeah.
that means they're trusting you with those feelings.
Correct.
So listen,
Yeah.
because if you're not, I hate to say it like this, but you said it earlier and you hit it on the head. If you're not adopted, you don't get it.
No, you don't. I'm sorry, but you
Like
don't.
you don't understand the feeling that we have because we're not just carrying pressure. It's people are not like that. I said that, but whatever. It's almost like a. I'll speak for me. For me, I didn't feel like I was just carrying the pressure of watching what my sister did with her adoption journey. I felt like I had to be like they wanted like my parents wanted me to have that
Yeah.
same journey
Yeah.
and I didn't want that journey. And
Correct.
so I kind of like and they would never force me to do anything because again they can't force me to do nothing. Ask them, they'll tell you. They can't force me to do a thing. They hate it, drives them nuts. But you feel that pressure because you don't
Right.
want to disappoint your parents.
Yeah.
You don't want to disappoint yourself. You don't
Right.
want to disappoint the biologicals. And you
Correct.
don't want to disappoint the people who have started to, it's going to be key indicator here. No, key point, whatever. You know what I mean? You don't want to disappoint the people who have taken an interest in your story
Yeah. Yeah.
because you feel like you can't let them down as well as you can't let anybody else down. And it's unnecessary. That was unnecessary pressure I put on myself because like my entire workplace got invested in my story.
Wow. Yeah.
Customers got invested in my story before I
Yeah.
even like met her. Like
Yeah.
that was unnecessary pressure that I kind of put on myself a little bit.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
just respect people's feelings.
Yeah.
Don't tell them how to feel. I'm just gonna
Right.
say it again. Just make sure it sticks.
No, no. And it's so true. And like, really, like, I think we're allowed to feel the feelings that we feel. And that's the thing is like people see it and they're like, oh, well, you should. And I love how you said that. Don't tell people how to feel. Don't. Like, don't. Because you don't know. You don't know
Feelings are
somebody's story.
valid.
And like Delancey's video, I can see it now. I didn't see a full 3 minutes of it. That must have been on TikTok. The stuff I saw was maybe 30 seconds. And all it is you walking
I
out and
think
hugging her.
it may have been a minute.
Yeah.
Honestly, now I think about because it was the original. That's the original video.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, it was the original video. It might have been a minute because I only had the ability to post 1 minute at the time because I only
Yeah.
had
Oh, yeah.
50 followers.
With, yeah.
I had 50
Yeah.
followers at the time, and then I posted that story
And bam.
and just
Yeah.
out of nowhere, like, and I mean, it's still to me, it's still a baby account.
Yeah.
There's a cop a couple counties over that all he does is stand there without his shirt on, and he has like 1 million followers. Says nothing of substance, and he has over 1 million followers. I'm over here trying to like share my knowledge about adoption, and I have 12.6 thousand. I'll still take it though because quality over quantity. But I'm just saying, the world's
People,
got their the
yeah.
world's got their
Priorities
like
effed
priorities.
up.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word priorities messed up. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Big
don't get me
time.
wrong. He's pretty. Don't get me wrong. He is very pretty, very pretty,
But they
but
like the
literally nothing of substance.
But it's just not like with you. It's also with like doom and gloom. They love the doom and gloom. And that's where I get
Mhm.
frustrated too, because I'm like, we're trying so hard to spread all this positivity, and people are like, yay, doom and gloom, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's totally
Right?
let's give you 50 million followers. Why?
It's like why?
Why?
It's like yeah, they're talking about real things and real issues, but they're not offering anything outside of that. Like, and that's
Exactly.
where I think that's why I appreciate that we're starting to introduce the harder things.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
really like that we're starting with us. You know what I mean? Like we've
Yes.
always had our interviews that have had their harder stuff, but the harder topics, I think it's fantastic that we've decided to start with us and our feelings so
Agreed.
that people realize, holy crap. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not like all sunshine and rainbows all the time. I mean, like, no, we are, but
Right.
the only way you get a rainbow is with rain. So,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
sunshine, you have to have both to get that rainbow going.
It's so true.
So,
Well, and exactly. Like, obviously, there's definitely stories we won't bring on because they're just like a big old dark cloud that not, I'm sorry, they're
oh,
not welcome. But to help educate, there's people that I
right.
know that have had it. Like, I feel like, with even some stories we've had come on before, there's been pinpoints that it's like, okay, you can, what can people do to learn to be better
Mhm.
with those kinds of things? Like,
Yeah.
I
I
actually,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
no, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, I actually went out with my friend who's Corey, who we had on Foster. I went out
Hmm.
with his wife today, who's like one of my best friends, and it just still blows my mind everything that he went through and the way she just talks
I
about
still
him
can't
and
believe that.
his life, and it's just like you have the power in your hands to choose how you want
Hmm.
to the human you want to become,
Hmm.
but you're also allowed to have really crappy, poopy, shitty
Yeah.
feelings too, like you just
Well,
are.
and that's like what we talked about earlier. It's like it's possible to be in a really terrible situation and look at the positive side
Hmm.
with while acknowledging the terrible situation. You can acknowledge the terribleness and accept it, but you just can't live in the terribleness. And I think that's where some of the stories that we have agreed that will not come on. And it's not because we don't want them in our space. I
Right.
mean, the way I look at it, I feel like we've created a space that is built on mutual respect
Hmm. Hmm.
with an understanding of education, sharing stories, sharing
Right.
feelings, sharing things like that. I mean, but
Yeah.
you can't just, but and you have to be able to back up what you're saying.
Right. Right. Right.
Like we specifically talked about feelings and we talked about why we felt the way that we did. It wasn't just
Correct.
like, I felt sad and stressed and oh, it was awful. No, this is why I felt sad and stressed. This is why I
Yeah.
felt upset. This is why,
Can
I
I
had anxiety or why whatever.
can I also say one thing about us too that we didn't do? We did not blame other people. If you notice that, we had hardships, but we did not blame other people. Like, I feel
No,
like that.
God, no.
You know what I
I
mean
mean,
though? And that's where I
like
feel like
for a split second, I was running it through my head. I was like, did I at any
no,
point in time?
we didn't. No, but
Because if I ever do, please God, call me out because that
like
is the last thing I would ever want to do.
but we didn't. Like with both of them, we're like, we understand where they're feeling and what they're coming from and where they may have been
Hmm.
hurt, but it was never once they did this to me. They did
Mm-mm.
this. They
Well,
like,
and it
and how
was,
those other adoptees
yeah.
I feel kind of are. That's why I don't want them in
Oh,
our
it's
space.
always, yeah, it's always someone else's fault, and it's
Yeah,
like,
correct.
no, and you can't. It's kind of about to throw out one of my little TV series analogies real quick because I love to do that. The series Love Is Blind. Have you watched that at all?
No, I have a friend that loves it though. Another friend. I know
Oh,
you've talked
okay.
about it and she loves it too.
First of all, you need to fix that.
Is it
If
on
you don't watch
Netflix?
anything else, it's on Netflix. It is
Okay,
a
okay,
series. It's all there. Watch it. Like it is necessary. This is the reason why. So, season one, just live through season one. Just get through
okay,
season one. I mean,
okay.
there's some stuff in there that you'll go, clutch my pearls. What? Season two and
Keep
season
talking.
three
I'm gonna
are
look.
the
Keep
ones,
talking.
yes, look it up, add it to your list on Netflix. So, the biggest thing that broke the internet on season two was Deep D. Deep D had this moment where that was her name. Deep D had this moment where, you at the end of the show, you go, you have your wedding and you stand up at the altar and you decide in that moment if you want to say I do or not, like yes or no to the person standing in front of you, will I marry you,
Oh,
will or not? Like you get engaged without ever seeing the person. Like you talk through a wall. It's crazy. Like it's crazy. Anyway, this girl, she connected with this guy. Long story short, this guy is a terrible human being,
ugh.
awful human being. But when she explained to him why she was saying no, she kept making I statements. And in that moment, I learned a lot about how to relay your feelings with somebody without them getting defensive and with them still so that they still listen to you. You know, I'm in a season of life where I need this or I need that, or like I am looking to do this or I would like to do that. And never once placed the blame on him. It was completely his fault. He is a jerk. He is a horrible, horrible person. But she did not once blame him. She said, I could not give you what you're looking for. I cannot give you what you're looking for. I need to, like, she never once said, you're the problem.
Took it upon herself.
But
Yeah.
yeah, she
Yeah.
took it upon herself as to the things that she needs to grow from, how she needs, and what she wants in a partner.
Yeah.
Loved her for that. I mean, she had her moment. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Fast forward season 3, skip through all of that stuff. You have this couple, Team Cole, for anybody who is wondering. And if you don't agree with me, you need to go watch the reunion episode and watch that final cutout thing that they played. Team Cole. Those of us that are adults are Team Cole. Those of us that are over the age of 35
What
are
season
Team
is that?
Cole.
What season is
Season 3.
Cole? Okay.
Season 3. So good. But you got to see season 2 to understand season 3, why it's such a big thing.
So I just got to start on season 1. Okay. Okay.
I'm going to need you to start at season 1. Because they do like reunion. Like, I need you to do the whole thing. Here,
Okay.
whole
Okay.
point. Season 3. I don't remember her name at all. His name was Cole. Don't remember her name. She said no to him
Okay.
and blamed him for everything.
What?
You were mean to me. You say horrible things to me. You made me not eat. You made me feel less than. You did this. You did this. You. You don't deserve me. And she turns around and walks out. Paraphrasing for anyone that's watched it, you know what I mean.
Yeah, what she said.
She turns and walks off, and like her friends are like, first of all, not okay. That's really rude.
Yeah.
I don't care what the scenario is. That's really rude. Anyway,
Crazy.
how you knew, she was blaming him for everything. She blamed him for everything. And you know what happened? Deep D over here won over America. This girl over here has been crucified on every single post that she has done. I've quit watching because like I just don't care that much.
What's her name?
But every single, I literally don't remember.
Okay. Okay. No, you're good. Keep talking.
Every single thing that she has done, she has, I mean, she has been ripped to shreds, dragged through the mud to the point that she still blamed him at the reunion show so badly that he was in tears and was like, I had no idea I did this to you. I did not know I did this to you. I didn't know. He didn't do anything. Like he's immature and he doesn't know how to communicate. But the difference was Deep D took all the bad and acknowledged it and took responsibility and accountability for any part that she played in it and what she's looking for in life.
Wow.
And that's why she's doing so great. This chick over here blamed him. It's the same thing with adoption. You can't play it. Actually, it's the same thing with anything. You can't play the blame game. It's no one else's fault. Okay. Long story short, listeners, the reason I said that is because you should not blame others. When you blame others, you think you're looking good. You think you're making a point. You think you're doing this. You think you're being all awesome because you have followers. They're following you because they're waiting for you to crash and burn, and you're their entertainment.
Yeah.
Because nobody supports victims like that. People that are actual victims, yes, they get support. People that experience things that completely traumatize them, 100%. Those that play a victim do not get, that's no. I'm sure I'll get some hate for that statement too. Whatever, I don't care.
No, now I really want to go watch it all. No, but I love how you said that. And I think that for sure shows maturity level on people owning the I statements. You know what I mean? Like, I feel this way because people that are quick to be like, you, like that chick or whatever, like, oh, that's not good. Like,
exactly. And I used to be real bad about that. It's someone else's fault. And my mom kept telling me my whole life, but what's your part in the problem?
yeah.
You can't control anybody else. You can only control you. So worry about you. And I mean, that took a couple years to sink in, but finally did. Here we are. But
yeah.
And I wish more adoptees would accept their feelings for what they are.
Right.
And stop trying to weaponize them.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, that's good. That is good. I like that. Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%.
Sorry,
Yeah.
y'all. That was a long episode.
No, no, that was totally good. I loved it. I loved it so much. So, anything else you want to
I
share
gotta
on
say, any
that?
final thoughts? No, no. I think our listeners are like, Delancey, shut up. I
Whatever.
want to go to. They're probably sitting there listening to it and going, okay, like legitimately, I want to like go back and watch my Netflix Love Is Blind series. I just saw there was a new season. You're welcome.
I was gonna say, I just saw that they're said new episodes, I think, on Friday. So I got a lot of catching up to do by Friday.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do, and you're gonna love it. Love it. Your
While I
husband's
work
gonna
from
probably end up
home.
sending me some kind of message and be like, really?
No, because I'll watch it and while I work from home. So it's totally fine. No big deal. And pop my headphones in. There you go. Anyway, no, I love that. No, and I love that, like, Delancey saying we're gonna still stay with the positive, but we want to shift it a little to show the raw and real because we have to show real life too. That's the only way that people are gonna learn and realize that like people are human and there's still some hard feelings that people have to work through to get to where they are, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So,
It
yeah.
does.
Anyway, no, this one was good and I'm excited. And I honestly do love that me and Delancey can just honestly fly by the seat of our pants and just come on and just talk about things and it actually flows and it turns out really, really good. So, and that's
Unless
why
Delancey goes on a tangent and then we're like,
what
hey, come back,
stop.
come
Stop.
back.
I completely
Get
disappeared.
off the train tracks.
Stop.
Get off the train tracks. Get back on.
It's totally fine. No, I love it. So, okay. Well, if you have no other thoughts, I think that's it. Thanks, guys, for listening to us. As always, we honestly, that's one thing I do want to plug real quick. I don't know if I've said it before, and we'll probably expand more on the more episodes we get, but thank you for supporting us. Like,
Oh,
share,
100%. Thank you for
like,
that.
please rate us because it helps us too. Like, that's something that,
Wait,
just go,
hold
go,
on. They can rate us?
yes, please, if you listen to us, what like at least on Apple Podcast, go and rate us, please. Share it with people, help promote it because that is what is going to help us on
Bless
our
you.
little platform get to where we're going because me and Delancey do a lot of our own work on sharing on our personal accounts, sharing on our
Mhm.
Instagram account, sharing on our TikTok accounts like Facebook. We share bless you. We share
Did I at least mute that one? Because that was bad.
yes, I
Okay,
didn't do
sorry.
that. But share. If you share and comment and rate us, it really helps us. So then that way we can,
It really does.
yeah,
Well,
we
and let
want to
us know
get in
what
front of
you
more
think
people.
too.
Yes.
We want to know what you think. Like I love how much love and support we get. Like I really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm almost curious, like, what do you think though?
Yes.
Like, what
Yes.
are your thoughts? What are
It's
you
so
like? I
true.
mean, don't feel like you have to, but it'd be cool if you did. Like,
Yeah.
so be nice.
Yeah.
Just
No.
because like I want to know, like, do you want to hear more on a particular topic? Do you want us
Yeah.
to keep like talk about it again? Do you want us to
Yeah.
talk about something else? Like,
Yep. Don't ever be afraid to reach out to either one of us either. Like if you like seriously and be like, hey guys, you guys should do this, or hey, have you ever thought of this? Because I mean,
mhm,
that's how we've gotten a lot of help too, is from people listening to us, sending people our way,
mhm.
or being like, hey, you should talk about this. Like seriously. So yeah, maybe I'll plug that in
But
at the end of everyone. Go rate us, go
don't
all
hit
those
us up
things.
if you want us to be a jewelry ambassador, though. That's a
Oh,
little annoying.
hell no. You ain't gonna hear
And
no
don't
ads on
ask
this
me if my
sucker.
dog can be one. Yeah, and don't ask me if my
Uh-uh.
dog will wear your doggy clothes. I have like I'm sorry. I have like 3 messages asking me if Pocket will be a dog model. No, she will not.
What? That's
It's
crazy.
weird.
That is
It's
weird.
weird. I mean,
Anyway.
she's cute, but no. She's a child.
On that note, thank you
Thank you
guys
for
for being
tolerating me and putting up with me, Melena. Like, love
whatever.
you.
No, I love you. You make it fun, Delancey. I hope you know that. I really appreciate doing this with you, as you guys can hear all that. Anyway, okay, we're gonna stop it. I gotta go get babies to bed. But you guys,
Yes,
thank
do
you.
that.
And like I said, rate us all the things. And thanks for listening.